Good morning. So we will discuss a topic which is called as the gametogenesis. Okay. So gametogenesis is a subtopic in 12th standard. 12th standard we have a chapter called as human reproduction. In that human reproduction chapter, we have a very small subtopic which is called as gametogenesis. Okay, now what is this gametogenesis? First one, understand this the meaning of this word genesis. The meaning of this word genesis means production or synthesis. Okay, so the meaning of this word genesis means production or synthesis. So gametogenesis. So gametogenesis stands for production or synthesis of gametes. Okay, so gametogenesis stands for production or synthesis of gametes. Now, what is a gamete? This is the first thing. And why are we synthesizing the gametes? What is a gamete? Now, gametes are the specialized reproductive cells. Gametes are the specialized reproductive cells. Okay, they are reproductive cells, or these are the cells which are involved in the process of reproduction. That is, they get fertilized and form the next generation. So, specialized reproductive cells are called as the gametes. So, usually, majority of the times, the ploidy of the gamete is haploid. Okay, majority of the times, the ploidy of the gametes is haploid, which is indicated by N. So, majority of the times, the ploidy of the gametes is haploid. Now, if we see human reproduction, in human reproduction, the gametogenesis occurs in both males as well as females, human males as well as females. In human males, the human male gametes are called as spermatozoa. So, production of human male gametes, the process of production or the process of synthesis of human male gametes is called as the spermatogenesis. And the process of formation or synthesis of female gametes is called as oogenesis. Oogenesis. Okay. So one very important thing. Now, when does spermatogenesis occur in the case of human males? In the case of human males, spermatogenesis occurs. In the case of human males, spermatogenesis occurs at puberty. Okay, when the human male reaches the age of 12 to 14 years. Okay, so usually 12 to 14 years. It can be plus or minus 1 year also. And this spermatogenesis starts at puberty. Oogenesis begins in the intrauterine life itself. Oogenesis begins in the intrauterine life itself. So this is one difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis. If you see the difference between spermatogenesis and oogenesis, we have a couple of differences. One difference is spermatogenesis starts at puberty and oogenesis begins at the intrauterine life itself. Okay. So now we will start with the process of spermatogenesis. We'll start with the process of spermatogenesis. So as the name itself is suggesting, spermatogenesis. I told you genesis is what? Genesis is synthesis of gametes. So spermatogenesis is the synthesis of male gametes. It's called as spermatogenesis. Okay. Now, spermatogenesis begins, okay, in puberty. We have already discussed. What is the site of spermatogenesis? Where does this spermatogenesis occur? So spermatogenesis occurs in the male gonads, which is the testis, okay, the primary sex organ, which is the testis. So within this testis, where does it occur? Within this testis, it is going to occur in a structure called as seminiferous tubules. It is going to occur in a structure called as seminiferous tubules. Okay. So now what are the requirements for this spermatogenesis to occur? Okay. Now for spermatogenesis to occur, or for spermatogenesis to start, pituitary hormones like follicle stimulating hormone is required. Okay. This is produced by the anterior pituitary. Follicle stimulating hormone is produced by the anterior pituitary. Or you can also write it as adenohypophysis. This is very important because this is going to stimulate the process of spermatogenesis. Okay. Next one is, apart from this one, we require some vitamins also, which are very essential. Vitamin E is essential for the formation of healthy gametes. Vitamin A is also very much essential for the formation of healthy gametes. Next one is we also require a very important hormone, testosterone. Okay, so testosterone, this is the characteristic androgen of, or the most common androgen that is present in the human male. So even testosterone is also very, very important for the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, now testosterone is a steroidal hormone. Testosterone is a steroidal hormone. Okay, so if it is a steroidal hormone, where are the receptors present? The receptors are present within the cell. Okay, this concept is chemical control and coordination, where you have the hormonal receptors. Where are the hormonal receptors present? So chemical control and coordination. There you will be studying that receptors for the hormones that are steroidal in nature will be present within the nucleus, within the cytoplasm of the cell. And if the receptor, if the hormone is a proteinaceous hormone, then usually the receptors are present on the plasma membrane. Okay, so this is a very famous question, couple of times it is asked also. So receptors for steroidal hormones are usually present within the cytoplasm. Okay, means usually we have intracellular receptors rather than the surface receptors. Okay, so these are some of the basic things. The first one is it requires follicle stimulating hormone produced by anterior pituitary. Vitamin E and vitamin A are also required, and testosterone is also very much essential. Now this the process of spermatogenesis, it begins in seminiferous tubules. You already discussed that. Now the cells that are that are involved in the process of spermatogenesis, they are extragonadal in origin. Okay, they are extragonadal in origin. Extragonadal in origin. Extragonadal in origin. What is the meaning of this term? They are extragonadal in origin. Extragonadal in origin means they are not these cells, though they are present in the gonads, the cells, the precursor cells which are responsible for the process of spermatogenesis, though they are actually present in the gonads, but they did not originate there. The origin is not the gonads, they are extragonadal in origin. They migrate into these gonads from the yolk sac. They migrate into these gonads from the yolk sac, they migrate into the gonads. So that is the reason they are called as extragonadal, means they are outside, they are coming from outside. That is why it is called as, or we call it as extragonadal in origin. Fine. So next let us move on. Next let us move on to our the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, if we see the spermatogenesis process, spermatogenesis begins with the first kind of, spermatogenesis begins in the seminiferous tubules, and in the seminiferous tubules we have certain cells which are called as the primordial germ cells. We have certain kind of cells which are called as what cells? Primordial germ cells. Okay. Now these primordial germ cells, in short we'll be writing it as PGCs. In short we'll be writing it as PGCs. Now these primordial germ cells are present in the seminiferous tubules and they are diploid. Okay, now these primordial germ cells, they'll be undergoing a process which is called as the mitosis. Okay, they'll be undergoing a process which is called as mitosis. Now they undergo a process called as mitosis and they'll be producing cells which are called as spermatogonial cells. A spermatogonium I am writing because I am taking one cell singular, which is called as a spermatogonium. Now these spermatogonial cells, they will again undergo a process of mitosis. Remember, as long as mitosis is taking place, the ploidy will not change, because mitosis is what kind of division? Mitosis is an equational division. So because mitosis is an equational division, the ploidy is not going to change until the process of mitosis continuing. So spermatogonium cells again undergoing mitosis. Now when it is undergoing mitosis, it is going to produce two kinds of cells. The first kind of cells are called as the spermatogonium. Once it's undergoing mitosis, it's going to produce a kind of cells which is called as the spermatogonium type A cells. Spermatogonium type A. Now what are these spermatogonium type A cells? And it is also going to produce one more kind of cells which is spermatogonial type B cells. Spermatogonial type B cells. Now, what is the difference between spermatogonial type A and type B? and why should it produce two different kinds of cell lineages? Okay. Now, if you see the process of spermatogenesis in the male, the process of spermatogenesis begins at puberty and it is going to continue till the end of the life. Okay, so spermatogenesis doesn't stop. Spermatogenesis is a continuous process. It is a continuous process in the case of males, okay, till the death of the male, unlike females. Now, this is one more difference between oogenesis and spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is going to end at the age of 50 in the case of females, 45 to 50 years, which is called as the menopause. After menopause, there is no further release of the secondary oocytes from the female because the menstrual cycle is going to stop there. But in the case of in the case of females, menstrual cycle is going to stop there. But in the case of males, spermatogenesis continues till the end of the life of the male. Okay, if unless there is some androgen deficiency. Okay, if there is an androgen deficiency, androgens are the male sex hormones. If there is an androgen deficiency, then there can be there can be reduced spermatogenesis, okay, which is called as androgen deficiency associated sterility or androgen deficiency associated infertility, we can say. That is in the aging males. Okay, it is in the aging males, but normally now it is a continuous process. Now when it is a continuous process, then what should happen is these cells, the spermatogonial cells must regenerate. Okay, if all the spermatogonial cells are used up in the production of sperms, then the new cells for further spermatogenesis will not be there. Okay, so in order to produce new cells for continuing the process of spermatogenesis, spermatogonium type A cells are formed. Now these spermatogonial type A cells will act as spermatogonial cells and it will be continuing. Now these spermatogonial type A cells we can call them as unipotent stem cells. We can call them as what? Unipotent stem cells. Now what is a unipotent stem cell? Unipotent means it can produce only one kind of cell lineage. Multipotent stem cells can produce various kinds of cells. Stem cells are those cells which are having the capacity of totipotency, like in the case of plant cells, which can give rise to various cell lineages. Okay, here it is a unipotent stem cell. So why are we saying it as a unipotent stem cell? We are calling it a unipotent stem cell because these spermatogonium type A cells, they act as stem cells and they'll be producing the spermatogonium, the further cells that are required for the process of spermatogenesis. Okay. Now spermatogonium type B is also a diploid cell. Now next one, what is going to happen is, now this spermatogonial type B cell, it is going to grow, it is going to accumulate some proteins, it's going to, whatever cells are required for the division, it is going to accumulate some proteins, etc. And what is going to happen is, it is going to become a cell which is called as the primary spermatocyte. It is going to become a cell which is called as the primary spermatocyte. So primary spermatocyte is also diploid cell. Okay, primary spermatocyte is also a diploid cell. Now this primary spermatocyte now starts the process of meiosis. Now this primary spermatocyte is going to start the process of meiosis, and this primary spermatocyte undergoes meiosis 1, and this primary spermatocyte is going to produce two cells which are called as the secondary spermatocytes. Which are called as what cells? Which are called as the secondary spermatocytes. Now these cells are called as the secondary spermatocytes. Now these secondary spermatocytes, because meiosis 1 has already taken place, they are haploid. They are haploid in nature. Reason why they are haploid in nature? Because meiosis 1 has already occurred. So meiosis is what kind of division? Meiosis is reductional division. Meiosis is what kind of division? Reductional division. So secondary spermatocytes are haploid. Now these two secondary spermatocytes are formed. We know if meiosis is taking place, how many cells are formed? After meiosis 1, 2 cells are formed. Okay, and these two secondary spermatocytes, this is a haploid secondary spermatocyte and this is a haploid secondary spermatocyte. Here if you see the ploidy, it can be 22 plus X here and this can be 22 plus Y here. Okay, and these two secondary spermatocytes, they are connected by a cytoplasmic bridge. They are connected by a cytoplasmic bridge. They are connected by a cytoplasmic bridge. Clear till here? If it's clear, we'll just move on. So we are we have reached to the secondary spermatocytes. Okay. Now these secondary spermatocytes are the first cells which are haploid in nature in the process of spermatogenesis. Okay. So I'll just erase this portion here. Now we are at secondary spermatocytes. And how many secondary spermatocytes we are having? 2. Now these secondary spermatocytes are haploid, as we've already discussed. Now these secondary spermatocytes, they will be undergoing again meiotic division 2, which is meiosis 2. Don't think that it is again a different meiosis. In meiosis 1 only, we are having two kinds of meiosis 1 is divided into meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. This is a second meiotic division. Second meiotic division is similar to mitosis, correct? We have studied this. Second meiotic division is similar to mitosis. So secondary spermatocytes, 2 secondary spermatocytes, they will be undergoing meiosis 2, and they'll be forming four haploid structures. All of them are haploid. Okay, secondary spermatocytes will be producing 4 haploid structures. All of them are also connected by the cytoplasmic bridges here again. These are also connected by cytoplasmic bridges. Okay, and now these structures are called as the spermatids. Okay, now these are not active forms. Now they are like, these are spherical shaped cells, but actually the sperm is going to be like a little streamlined head. It has the tail and all. So now these cells, these cytoplasmic bridges, which are connected by the cytoplasmic bridges, which are called as spermatids, they undergo differentiation. They undergo a process of differentiation. They get differentiated, and they will be forming structures which are tadpole shaped, like with a streamlined head. It's going to form 4 structures which are called as the spermatozoa, which are called as what? Spermatozoa. So this here, a process of what takes place here? A process of differentiation is going to take place. Okay. So this is also haploid, this is also haploid, this is also haploid, and this is also haploid. Now there is a name for this process. The process of conversion of spermatids into spermatozoa, this process is called as spermiogenesis. What is this process called as? Spermiogenesis. So what happens in spermiogenesis? In spermiogenesis, the spherical shaped spermatids, which are haploid and which are connected by cytoplasmic bridges, they will be undergoing differentiation to form streamlined, flagellated, motile structures which are called as spermatozoa, and all of them are haploid in nature. Okay, so this is the process of spermatogenesis. Thank you.